Camera for Donny. Go for Donny. Sound for Donny. Go for Donny.
Makeup for Donny.
Go for Donny. Medic for Donny. Go for Donny. Grip department for Donny. Go for Donny.
Production for Donny.
Go for Donny.
Sound for Donny.
Makeup for Donny.
Go for Donny. Hey, man, what's up, everyone? Hey, welcome to Go for Donny. I'm your host, Donny, and this is Rupert Smith, a.k.a. The Bear, and that is Danny Castro, a.k.a. The Peacock. What's up, gentlemen? Thanks for coming on.
Hey, Donny, how are you? The Eagle.
That's right. I think we did talk about that in episode 1. Jay and I were talking about our spirit animals because he knew that you were the bear and you're the peacock, and we had the puma. And you want to know what mine was? And I was like, I think I'm the eagle because I soar like freedom.
America.
God bless it. So yeah, guys, thanks for coming on, everybody. I was lucky enough to work with these two guys for a number of years on many seasons of Top Gear USA. And we also worked on a few other projects where we had some good times and a lot of shenanigans. And that is what this podcast is about. It's about some good times and shenanigans and behind the scenes fun in reality TV and branded content, or even a movie here and there. So, gentlemen, I brought you on here today to talk about some fun times. In Top Gear, we had a lot of fun times. I do like to talk about camaraderie and why we had fun times, because I think that we all got together so well. And we enjoyed our company that we wanted to be with each other while we were working. And then when we weren't working, we wanted to be together at that time as well and have fun and tell the same stories. And that's another reason why we're doing this podcast. So, guys, who would like to go first? Anyone want to share a fun story that you that may want to tell the viewers and listeners?
I miss those days.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a lot of fun, right? I mean,
it was the best of times.
What do you think made it so special then?
The mixture of the right kind of personalities that all kind of came together. I think it's quite, what kind of made it really work for me, I think, was that there was very little kind of executive interference on what we were doing. We had a small team. We were able to kind of just go and get on with it and make it how we wanted to. I think a lot of shows you work on these days, there's many executives, many things. It's not really fun. It's work. And this was more like, as you said, having fun and having a good time. But we also managed to put out some pretty decent content as well. So, but yeah, I think it was just a perfect mix of people that kind of got on, that didn't take stuff too seriously, but were professional and loved their jobs. And in between doing a great job, had a good time as well.
And I think that we can probably all thank Rupert for that, because I think all of our group of friends that we're really close with were all brought on because of Rupert. So
I think me and you met on Imploders at the Discovery show, blowing up buildings, traveling around with a kind of crazy family, detonating buildings and stuff. And I think you came onto Top Gear as soon as I started that. After that, I think. Along with Senior, known as the Puma, and Mikey Schneier. He was like a production coordinator when he started, wasn't he, on that? And then
that's right. Yeah, he was. He was like a hybrid coordinator, AP.
Yeah. So
Dan, when did you come on?
Well, mine was thanks to Rupert as well. I was doing a different show in America, but for it was the Dynamo Magician show, and I managed to get Rupert's or someone's number to meet up with Rupert in LA while I was shooting a different show, and then
we actually met in England, didn't we? We met in England on that because I came over to shoot a thing with Tanner for season 1 of Top Gear, and it was a Morgan Aero Super Sports.
I told you.
His memory's gone.
It is. It really is.
He's got the early
flashcards.
Gone completely because of those 5 years.
Rupert. We met in England.
Oh, hi! I do recognise you a little bit. Oh my God, yeah. So we got on like a house of fire.
I came over with Tanner to England to shoot a thing, and Dan and a couple of the Top Gear guys were kind of hired to come and shoot it because it was cheaper than bringing crew over from the States. They obviously knew what they were doing, and they all laughed at me because I had a Canon 5D, which no one had really started using yet. And I'd sort of brought that out and was shooting bits and pieces, and all these kind of old school Top Gear camera guys are like, what's that? The only one that took any interest was Dan. So we got chatting, and he was like, I want to come over. And I'm like, and then, I think we met for French Toast in LA a few months later, and kind of it got the ball rolling, and he came over and became DP.
Sealed the deal over French Toast.
Yeah.
It was very quick and very good. It was some of the best times of my life, to be honest.
I think you were very hungover when we went for that French Toast, I seem to remember.
That's why I went quiet. I only just got in.
That's how you knew. That's how you knew he would work out. You're like,
he's perfect for this team. It's exactly what we need.
I don't know how much I can mention in this podcast, but I came
not much of it
to meet Rupert. I'll say no more.
Yeah, we try to keep it PG for the kids that are listening. But I believe we did.
After 8 hours sleep, I woke up in the morning and refreshed, and went and met up with Rupert, and we had a very decent and sane conversation about how fast he could get me working in America, and the rest is history. And it was really like coming into like a new, like all the group together, and like me on one side, and kind of like watching it all back, go. And then sometimes they'll turn around and go like, hey, how do you do it in the UK? And I would start the sentence by going like, oh, in the UK.
That's correct, but I don't believe we were asking you. I believe you were just saying, we would say we're doing something. You would be like,
in the UK.
In the UK.
Well, I'm not going to say that, am I? I'm going to say that you asked me.
We were asking him. Yeah, did you hear that? We were asking him. I don't think so. It was awesome. That's awesome, though.
I don't think Rupert ever asked me that.
In the UK.
I think I just shouted at you a lot, didn't I?
Yeah, I loved it.
So,
I think you shouted at everyone.
So, Dan, do you have maybe one great memory from an episode that we did that you could share with us?
The elephant in the room.
Crazy.
Let's start. I'll say 2 words: bouncy castle.
Bouncy castle. Okay, that would be the episode that we did, Monument Valley to Moab, which was rental cars, and that just happened to be Tanner Faust's favorite episode.
Well, I think that's the one that strikes like the proper kind of a battle between director and DP that we ever had, I think.
That was a battle.
The director wins. It wasn't a battle, really. It was just it was a bit of an argument, wasn't it?
Why don't you set it up, Root? What were we doing?
Well, the idea was to see if we could kind of off-road in rental cars. And I was trying to remember what we had. I think we had Toyota Yaris.
I can... we had the Yaris. I love the Yaris.
There was a Lincoln Town Car. And
that's right, the bouncy town car that you drove.
Oh, yeah, with the suspension welded shut at the back. So it was very frisky. And then we had a Mustang, I think a kind of crappy Mustang. It wasn't even a nice one, was it?
It was a red crappy Mustang. Yep, a
red crappy Mustang, classic kind of rental car. But yeah, the idea was to kind of get across Utah through national parks, and then we hit some pretty heavy kind of wheeling trails that normally would challenge Jeeps and other 4x4s, and we mashed the hell out of the vehicles. But I think the point in question here was at the end, the guys were given a challenge on how to get down this cliff to get to the finish point in Moab. And I think each of them kind of approached that in their way. I was trying to remember what they were. I know it was Tanner winched
Tanner used a winch.
Used a winch and kind of went down backwards over the edge of the cliff. I can't remember what Rutledge did with the Yaris. How did he get? How did he get down?
We used a crane. A crane came out. He called a crane out.
That's right. Yeah. And then Adam, of course, came up with the least sensible idea and put a hang glider, kind of microlight set of wings on top of a probably 2-ton Mustang, and wanted to drive it off the cliff and land to absorb the impact of the fall. Put a bouncy castle on the ground, sort of 120 feet below, which is stupid, clearly, but a kind of classic Top Gear attempt at beating science and physics. And yeah, we had a bit of an argument because it was a stressful day. I remember the stress levels of me were pretty high. We were kind of up against it at the time, and just the logistics of working on top of a cliff and the bottom and trying to keep it safe. And anyway, I was trying to set up where the bouncy castle was going to go, where we were going to be able to release this Mustang off the cliff. And on top of the cliff, so I was kind of looking at the exit point where it was going to go down and kind of pick my spot for the bouncy castle, and did that. And the guys down below are walking it around and moving it in. And then I went back to talk to Adam and did some shots up top. And then I walked back to the edge of the cliff, and the bouncy castle had moved and not on its own. Maybe Dan can pick it up from there.
So what happened down below, Dan?
Well, down below, because I missed most of the conversations. I'm not blaming it on that, obviously. I think I've just took it upon myself to make a calculation of where the actual car would land.
Yeah.
So I said to the guys, it's not gonna land there. It's gonna land there. I think you should move the bouncy castle over to that side. And then I hear it on the radio, and Rupert starts shouting, and I'm with Tanner Faust down at the bottom, and I said, well, and I asked his opinion. I said, where do you think this is going to land? And I said to him, I think it's going to land there. And I said, well, Rupert said that he was going to land there. I said, but I think it's going to land there. He said, you're right. And he said, what did Rupert say? And I said, well, he said over there. And I said, and he looked at me and went, no, you've got to put it where Rupert said. It doesn't matter where it fucking lands. You need to put it where the director says. And I was like, shit. And then, so I told them to move it. And then Rupert came on and said, why is that fucking bouncy castle move? Fucking bouncy castle. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm not even going to respond to that. So we quickly moved the bouncy castle to that.
And then we had a pretty good walkie-talkie bash at each other, arguing and going at each other over it. And then eventually I got it back to where I wanted. So we did the stunt, sent the Mustang off over the cliff. And the two spots where they were, like Dan's spot, my spot, there's probably only like 15 feet. It wasn't like a big distance. It was there. But the Mustang came off the cliff, hit a kind of needle of rock. So it was kind of heading for the spot where I wanted, but it went off slightly at the wrong point, kind of hit a rock on the edge, went off on an angle, hit this like obelisk of rock that was sitting there, smashed that, which has obviously been there for thousands of years, and bits of it start falling down. The car spirals down, hits the ground, exactly where Dan had moved the bouncy castle to. Yeah. And I'm like, ah. But then, in the kind of the TV god smiled at us, it bounced off the ground and then landed onto the bouncy castle next to it, bursting, exploding it.
That was brilliant. I think we have some video of that we'll roll for everyone so they can see it. But yeah, that was hilarious. I was up top with you. Jay was down below, with you, Dan. It was hilarious. Oh, gosh.
But, I mean, should we just talk
still argue about that to this day.
Yeah. I mean, it was funny that it crashed into the ground and then went into the bouncy castle. But I don't know.
I thought that was funnier and that technically I won. But... you did have the spot right. So, but
you always win.
It was Adam's fault because he launched it at the wrong bit. If he'd gone off at the right point where I wanted, it probably would have hit where it said. But so everyone's at fault except me.
What I love about this, I think that all of our guests that we're going to have on will probably have a story about the rental car episode. It seems like a little take on it. I love it because we did talk about that. We did the first episode. Jay and I did talk about getting so dirty while driving in the old Suburban. Oh, it was us four, matter of fact, and we talked about the vacuum effect, right, Dan? About how if you have the backup, you roll the windows up, but when the windows are down, that dust just rolls right through. So we have the thumbnail for GFD, which is myself and Jay after the fact. And Jay was caked with dirt and he looked orange. He looked like a Oompa Loompa from his PF.
It's because he put
SPF
like,
1000.
SPF 1000, like caked. Like.
Yeah.
So I think we're going
to. On an Australian beach, kind of white, some of those just get covered then. Yeah.
Yeah, so I love that. I love
that.
That
was on the same episode where we had the helicopter, and I was shouting at Dan for wearing a red jacket.
No,
that was also Utah, wasn't it? That was Utah.
That was the Mustang episode. That was the
another Mustang. That's what I'm confusing
Pony Express. Pony Express.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
Red jacket. I was to explain. Well, I always kind of wanted crew to wear like camo and earthy colors so that we couldn't see them, so they could be positioned to get shots of stuff and all that. And I think this is like one of Dan's first shoots actually. And I was up in a helicopter with a Cineflex camera and stuff, and I looked down and there's someone dressed in bright red. And it's Dan, and he's like, "You can't see me. I can fucking see you." And next time we did a shoot, he put a proper ghillie suit on to kind of completely camouflage himself, and I couldn't see him.
Oh, the ghillie suit. Do you remember the ghillie suit? I got the ghillie suit given to me by a military guy, right? And I loved it. It was amazing. The detail, everything in it. And then obviously Senior, the Puma, liked it because he loves that kind of stuff. And then we were filming in some private airfield, and he'd gone off and done his own thing and put the ghillie suit on. And I was driving the Suburban, and I wasn't driving it kindly, and I was just coming off the runway and like sliding it on the grass and going onto the runway and then sliding it onto the grass again. And then I came into a slide and a halt, right? I went. And then Senior just popped up like 10 meters away from me. And I'm like,
the suit works.
Senior, I could have just run you over.
This is why, Dan, we never let you drive cars.
This is true. And for all the listeners and viewers, for everyone's wondering who Senior is a good friend of ours. Very, very funny guy. He's also an assistant camera operator on Top Gear USA. And he's called the Puma because it dates back to an episode in San Diego of Top Gear where we were filming live TV, and Rutledge was coming out on some Segway with some fog behind him to sell a car live on TV, and the fog machine wasn't working. So Senior went running out really quick and got the fog machine working, and then ran back, and Rupert looked to me and he's like, "Holy shit, like a Puma, like a smoke Puma." and then Puma stuck. So that's why we call Senior the Puma. So as you were, Dan?
No, I nearly ran the Puma over because it was wearing a ghillie suit.
Which is exactly why we never let you drive any vehicles.
Okay. Well, I'm not there anymore.
Yeah. That was another great shoot, the 101st Airborne.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
And they kind of gave us free reign on lots of military equipment and chasing Tanner in a G-Wagon across Fort Campbell in Kentucky, which was, we finally got Dan out of his red rain jacket and into a more camouflage look for the helicopter.
Yeah. Yeah, there's an awesome picture with the red and the helicopter. What's it called? What's that helicopter called?
The Kiowas? The Kiowa helicopters? Yeah, we had two Kiowa helicopters chasing Tanner. We had a drone overhead for the satellite aerials, and then we had MRAPs down on the ground pinching Tanner to a location where Black Hawk would come in and bring air assault troops, and they would bail out and stop Tanner and try to handcuff him and throw him in the chopper.
It was a great shoot.
Take off with them. It was great. It was so much fun.
That was probably my favorite moment of like, oh shit, what do I do here? Was when the colonel in charge of all that said, right, you guys need to do a sync matrix. And we had to put together a very kind of exact schedule of exactly where we were going to have cameras on the base at what time. And to be fair, I mean, I'm sort of reasonably organized, but most of the time we're kind of winging it a little bit and turning up and shooting up. We'll do something there here. But they wanted everything up ahead in front so that then you went out, kind of put vehicles and have stuff waiting and where their helicopters are going to be flying. And then I had to do a presentation to all the troops taking part. And I was like, okay, it'll just be a couple of guys chatting and I'll tell everyone else. But no, it was a hangar full of soldiers, all these kind of like hardcore everyone soldiers looking at this like British TV guy coming in. And I had one of those like pointer sticks with a thing, and I could push little helicopters around on a giant map on the floor of the hangar. And like, yeah, this will be here at 1700 hours, blah, 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 blah. And it was, they're looking at me and I'm thinking, oh my God, they must think I'm a complete idiot. But it seemed to work. We got it. And I think it was one of the best shoots we did, actually. I think visually and story-wise and for drama, it was great. I loved it. And the US Army says yes.
I agree.
They go all in. They give you everything. It's not a question of can we have. It's like, how many can you have? And it's like, how many do you need?
It was amazing. So, yeah. And was that the episode as well that that we had a code name for Tanner? Was it Delta Fox, or was that the Fort Irwin shoot? It was Delta Fox. No, it was 101st. Yeah. Yep.
What did it stand
for? Delta Fox, though.
Yeah, I had to find out. I forgot about it, and I asked Adam McFarlane, one of our producers, and he reminded me that it stood for douche face. So we were in the van, we were scouting, and we were trying to come up with what we could call them, and then I think Adam said, or one of the guys said, douche face. And we're like, Delta Fox. I'm like, that's perfect. So it was a behind the scenes little thing. I think Tanner's probably just finding out about that right now.
Hey, Tanner. Sorry.
Hey, Tanner. Pals.
It is what it is.
Oh, the shenanigans. So any other, so we also talked about Iceland as well. It seems like, I think a lot of the guests are going to talk about Iceland, that journey, because it was such a journey and we were all together. And once again, the camaraderie and the fun that we had, where we had to come together and actually sleep with each other in the shack and double bunk up. So any fun stories from there?
That was a noisy night. I mean, for fuck's sake, it was just incredible. It's just like 40 men and some women in there. It was all together, wasn't it?
Quite a lot of scotch as well, I remember.
Scotch and stew.
Yeah, and then the Northern Lights.
Oh, the Northern Lights was amazing.
What was great with that, I mean, it took us like hours to get up this mountain. We're basically trying to get to the top of this volcano in kind of these crazy Icelandic Jeeps and stuff with huge tires. And it was a long day. I mean, I think we'd be going like 20 hours or something, and everyone was exhausted. And we finally kind of got up onto this kind of plateau just below the summit of the volcano to stay there for the night and then make a push for the summit in the morning. And it's a climber's hut, which is kind of open to the public. It's warmed by natural hot springs, I think, and stuff like that. But we got there, the door was encased in, like, you could see the door, but it was through 2 feet of clear ice. It was like just a wall of ice. So we're having to ice axe and pick our way just to get in the door, and everyone's sitting there kind of pissed off and moody. And we finally got in there, and I wouldn't call it warm in there. I mean, there was kind of ice inside as well, but it was certainly warmer than outside. This was like February in Iceland, so a little chilly. But we got in and everyone kind of managed to sort of dry out a little bit. And I had a couple of bottles of very nice duty-free scotch. And the hosts were, I have to say, moaning quite a lot about this at that point. There was a lot of trouble at the mill going on with those guys and a little bit sort of annoyed. And I got some little paper cups I found and poured each of them a very large shot of whiskey. very quickly they kind of relaxed, and then the next thing we know, everyone's outside kind of drinking and whatever else, and looking at the northern lights or aurora borealis, which was just stunning. And we actually had a wonderful night altogether. A lot of farting though. That was kind of
who did you guys bunk with? Who were you guys bunked with?
I went to like some weird bit in the upstairs bit. I seem to remember. I actually had a bit of space. It wasn't too bad. It was colder, but I didn't have to kind of sleep jowl to jowl with anybody. So
yeah, I was with Rhett. Me and Rhett were buddies.
But also the food. I remember the food was brilliant. They'd made a curry. Yeah. It was like fantastic, like hot food and everything. The Icelandic support guys we had were just brilliant.
The squid. So funny you mentioned that. I want to talk about that because the squidding pasta was amazing. But what also was amazing were our guides, Ghillie and his Icelandic crew, Arctic Trucks, right? Arctic Trucks. And I believe we'll have Ghillie on at some point to talk about our journey with him. But it was amazing what they did. Like when we break an axle and they had to weld the axle and.
Yeah, they did sit it in the snow. I mean, it was Adam, I think. He snapped the axle and they just dug a hole under the truck in the snow until it hung loose, took the wheel off, was in there using a car battery to power an electric arc welder, and they fixed it and put it on. It took them maybe 20. Yeah.
Are you sure it wasn't the Bronco?
It was a Bronco. Was that
Adam? Do you remember when
it was Tanner's, wasn't it?
No, the Bronco.
Do you remember the Bronco going to the crevasse?
Well, we're going to talk about that. But the Bronco. So Adam had the Chevy Navy truck. The Scout was Tanner's, and the Bronco was Rutledge's.
Oh, Rutledge, that's right.
Yeah. But what you're saying. So they took a battery out of the Ford Bronco to use to weld the axle back together.
Yeah,
It was crazy. It was crazy how they did that. They dug, like you said, they dug down in the snow and we were able to weld it as we were playing in the snow.
I mean, it took them 20 minutes. It was amazing how fast they did it.
They told us not to pee when we got out of the car. They told us not to pee next to the car because they were fixing it through the night. So they
yes, that's right.
Our piss all over the tires and near the tires and the doors and the engine and stuff.
Please walk away. And do you remember we had to give them a filter, one of your 5D filters, or two of them, so that way they can weld with it, and some glasses?
That's right. Yeah, they didn't have the welding glasses. So I had to use that variable ND filter to look through and see what they were doing. Yeah.
That was fun. And so Tanner and I did touch on at the end of the day, as you guys, I'm sure you remember, when the clouds went away and you could see everything and it was beautiful, and it was just before the sun went down, and the three guys went driving down and they were just messing around, doing their thing. And then that's when Adam found that crevasse.
Yeah. I mean, just to make clear, this is at the top of an active volcano with a huge glacier on it, covered in crevasses. There's a very specific route that you can drive up that's safe. And our guides were there to make sure we did do that. And then at the end of the day, the guys just decided to go and do donuts in the snow without asking anyone. And we were like, for a second, like, oh, this is cool. And then, oh, shit. And then I think Ghillie was like, get them out of there. And then Adam's car just disappears. It's like, shit.
It's the way his front light just disappeared and was lighting the inside of the car.
And we ran up there to him, and you could look down below the car and shine a flashlight, and the car headlights were lighting up, and it was probably 70, 80 feet drop down through the ice, just an open crevasse, and there was like a little ledge that was holding the car there. So he was very lucky. If he'd gone in like 6 feet that way or 6 feet that way, he'd have gone down until the car kind of crushed into a crevasse. I mean, he probably would have survived it, but it would have taken a long time to get him out. But as it was, I mean, their rescue attempts were amazing. They were just like, oh, yeah, here we go. And a couple of ropes, a couple of winches, bit of triangulation, and they had it out and back to safety within kind of sort of 20, 30 minutes. But and we run out of like cards or something for the cameras as well. We couldn't even film it. It didn't even get filmed half of that because I think we'd literally run out of media. Everything. We'd been stuck on that mountain for 2 days. I think there's a few photos that existed from cameras, but it wasn't even part of the show in the end. We made that. It would like the cameras that I would put away, or we'd run out of media or something. But
we had cut. We were just we were getting ready to leave. So that's crazy.
I remember that day on the beach there, the black sand beach, and it was like pissing with rain. I think that's like the coldest I've ever been. It wasn't even like icy, but it was like howling winds, and then we were soaked through the skin from the rain. And there's a famous kind of black beach there with an old US Navy plane that sort of crashed there years ago. We were filming there, and I just remember cold to my bone that day. It was as cold as I've ever been.
And that sand felt like sandpaper getting everywhere. So you're wet and sandy,
black sound,
abrasive.
Yeah,
that Velcro sound.
Oh, hey guys, well, stay tuned for Go for Donny Switch to Channel 2, where we'll get a chance to ask our guests some more questions that you, the listener, want answers to. We're also going to have the amazing car enthusiast and some insane knowledge on all types of cars, ask some questions from his perspective. But the catch is he's only 15. And that's Max's Motor Minute. That's coming up later. Any other fun stories? I mean, we talked about Detroit with Tanner. We've talked about Niagara Falls when Adam sank out going to Toronto. We've been all over the place.
That one, I was shooting from the helicopter on that one, and it was unreal to see him disappear like that. It was just like, oh, there he is. Oh, fuck. And then it just disappears.
Yeah, I was on the one of the boats with Graham Sherrington. He was directing that episode. And we had a boat between us and Adam, and we couldn't see, but we had to rely on the feed from the helicopter to see what was going on before we went down in the water. So I'm sure Adam will give his take on that when we have him on the show.
That was a bit. Yeah, I don't know if that should be. Can that be broadcast?
Well, Jay said his audio rig is still somewhere at the bottom of the lake, so.
Don't put your seatbelt on.
Yeah.
And don't turn the fan off.
You know, something else we touched base on was out there, Moab again. Moab brings everyone together. When it was really hot out there and we ended up hanging out, dancing around a bucket with a phone in it to music. Do you guys remember that? Does that ring a bell? Does that ring a bell at all?
I thought we were going to mention that.
I wasn't going to mention that, but Tanner brought it up.
I have video of that stuff. Which I don't think anyone will ever get to see. I think we kind of all cut loose a little bit, didn't we, that night? It was middle of nowhere, camping. Half the crew wanted to go to sleep, and the other half, somehow out of everyone's bag came bottles of booze, and the European dance trance music came out, and we had a little bit of a Burning Man moment in the desert. And then Rutledge decided to take all his clothes off, which was one of the more terrifying things I've ever seen in my life.
It was hot. I remember it was hot that night.
It was very hot. Yeah.
You really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
What about Dan? What about from your experience on the on Top Gear UK? Any shenanigans you can talk about from there?
No.
Copy. I guess you're.
It wasn't. No, I mean it was fun, but it wasn't as fun. I had more fun. 100% more fun on the. I mean, don't get me wrong. I had fun with my crewmates, but that's as far as it went. The rest of the.
I like what you're saying, because what I'm hearing is camaraderie, and you got on with our crew. No offense to any of the crew, a lot better, because I talk about that, about how well we got on with each other, like how close we were, the camaraderie, and that just translated into working, really hard for each other. And then we would hang out and we would drink or hang out really hard with each other, and it was great times. And I haven't replicated that on anything else that I've done to date.
No, just that. I think that's because obviously leader is the leader is British. I was British, and and the guys in the crew, the American guys, understood the British humor quite well, and the sarcasm, and they got on, like you and Mikey and Adam, and everyone really got it, and it was just funky. It was a really funky American crew, and you could see that because when I lived there, obviously I had to go and do work and on other shows after Top Gear was kind of ending, and it just wasn't the same vibe, and that's one of the reasons why I moved back to England, because if I wasn't going to do Top Gear the way that we did it, in the way that we wanted to do it, and with no one else giving you input, it was just really rogue individuals, really artistic individuals that took their job, did their job very well, but also knew how to work hard and party hard, and that was the perfect mix for the perfect. That was a perfect time for us because we were kind of young enough to just be the last of the ones that get fucked.
Young enough to be able to drink all night and then go to work the next day and still do it.
Exactly. You know, we are the last ones that got absolutely smashed at work.
I don't know how we did it.
And not allowed to do that anymore.
No, we're not allowed to do that anymore. And for that reason, I'm out.
The best one of that was what was the one we ended up in Vegas, but we had Tanner and I, we crashed the wedding at that hotel up in the mountains.
Oh, we did talk about that. That was Death Valley. That was after we went through Death Valley. And that was when we were making our way from, I don't know, Pahrump, I think. Yeah, we were in Pahrump.
Yeah.
And we had to get from Pahrump up to Mount Charleston. And that's where we were staying that night before we had to film the next day.
Yeah, but we were filming on the way down to Vegas, weren't we?
Yeah, well, all I remember is Donny driving an RV. The host had like an RV, kind of, because we're out in the desert all the time. They had a little RV to hang out in, and he drove, and I joined them for the journey, and it was like a 3 or 4 hour drive or something across Death Valley at night. Wasn't that the night that they got Osama bin Laden?
No, that was a different time. That was when we were scouting. We were doing some B-roll out at that lake bed.
Okay, all right, another time. It all blurs into one. Anyway, we're there.
That was before the shoot. No, you're right, Rup. That was before we went on the Death Valley shoot because we had those vehicles.
Yeah. Rup had several bottles of Crown Royal, which was his tipple of choice. So it was me, him, and the other, and Adam and Tanner, and one of our producers, Tabitha, I think. We just started drinking in the RV. Donny's driving through the darkness, watching a soccer game on his phone. Safety first. He's driving the RV. He's watching Manchester United, hopefully losing to somebody as he's going along. And in the back, we're kind of just getting absolutely riotously drunk. We arrive at the hotel, we fall out. I think I fell into a pond that was there with like kind of koi carpet. And was just going around. And we went straight in and hit the bar, and there was like a big wedding on. Some poor couple had hired the whole hotel for their wedding, and suddenly these kind of sweaty, dusty troublemakers all come running in, and we just took it over. And there's video, I think somewhere, of like Tanner wearing the bride's veil and getting the bride to dance on the pool table, and everyone's doing a conga around the bar. And anyway, cut to like 6-7 a.m. I hear a banging on my door. I'd somehow gone to bed about 10 minutes before, and it's like, call time, we're going to go, we're going. The worst hangover. Tanner and I had been drinking tequila shots till the last early hours, and he was straight up on camera having to drive his Jeep down a mountain. And I think the day started, where someone put diesel into one of the cars so that it wouldn't start, so we were already behind at the beginning. I lost my shit because I was so grumpy and hungover. I threw my walkie into a snowbank and then rather sheepishly thought, I was about to go and get that. And then spent 20 minutes digging in the snow trying to find it. And then Tanner, like,
he was trying to find it. He had his whole head in the snowbank looking for it. I think there's a photo of his whole head in the snowbank.
I fell asleep in the road.
That was after. But did Tanner not go and throw up in between takes and between the cars?
Yeah. He had to drive, so and this shows what a good driver Tanner is. I think, despite probably one of the worst hangovers in living memory, he just jumped into this Jeep and drove backwards down a kind of sort of 1 in 5 slope through trees off road,
yep.
and just weaving between huge pine trees, drop offs each side. And he just goes down backwards quite happily, one handed there, and then stops and does another take, throws up in between, goes back and does another. Not that in any way we are condoning or promoting the idea of drinking, juice, jiving, and none of this is true.
No.
But, yeah. It's
as the cameras were filming this, I don't think we knew he was going to go backwards, and we were all watching.
I don't think he knew.
Thought, this is exactly. We thought this is, and we were looking at Tanner and all of them, everyone. I'm looking at Rupert as well. I mean, I wasn't great myself, but I wasn't as bad as them, and for once, and the way he just. It just went backwards. It just went reverse down the mountain. Oh dear! And then Rupert, you were waiting for so long for the cars to come down that you fell asleep on the road.
Yeah, I took a nap on the tarmac. Yeah,
you got to be able to grab a nap when you can. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Well, it was fun. We had a good time. I mean, like I said, I've never been able to replicate that. And maybe that's why I've stayed such close friends with you two and many of the others over the years. And that's why we always try to get together once a year and just tell stories. And that's really the reason why we started the podcast, to tell stories.
We would do that for 2 weeks, right? Nonstop, or for months at a time. And we'd go on a shoot for like 5 days somewhere and do something crazy like the Death Valley, and then come back and go out the weekend, and then all together again, and then the next week go off for 2 weeks to wherever, and then come back and then go out the weekend.
Remember that time? I think we were in Colorado, and we all got on a plane, and we were all kind of Bloody Marys and drinking. Got to know half the people on the plane, and about 5 or 6 people from the plane then came back to my house without the rest of the crew straight from the airport in LAX, and we just carried on drank all weekend. It's like, a whole bunch of people from the plane came and joined the party. It was
that's good times.
It was shenanigans. It was good times, guys.
Correct,
well, gents, thank you. Thank you both for coming on. Hopefully you guys will come back on maybe individually and think of some other stories you can share, because we'll talk about more than Top Gear in the future. But for now, we're going to stick with Top Gear. But don't forget to check us out. You can check out our website at gofordonny.com. This won't only be an audio podcast. We'll also have a YouTube video podcast to check out with lots of pictures and fun and other videos. So please make sure you check it out. And you can follow us on the social media pages at the bottom of the website. You can find us at Amazon Music, all down below, right? All down below, all these right here. And don't forget, we have some merchandise too, you guys. We have some great hats you can get, some nice black ones. We got some nice blue ones. There we go. See, everyone's got one. Dan, yours is coming. We got some really cool stickers, so come and check it out. Stay a while and hang out. But don't forget to check out Go for Donny Switchy Channel 2, where I'll be firing off some questions to our guests with the help of Max Hillhouse in Max's Motor Minute later on. Oh, you guys crack me up.
You don't get a free DJI Pro.
Yeah, no, that's not part of the gig. Well, guys, thanks for listening. Please follow GFD, subscribe to our podcast so we can grow our audience. And don't forget HTFU. Hashtag HTFU. Thanks, gents.
Thanks, guys. Good to see you all.
Are we going?
Yeah,
are you going to cut me off?
Production for Donny.
Go for Donny. Locations for Donny. Go for Donny.
Habitat for Donny.
Go for Donny. Hey Donny, what the hell are they doing?